In this episode of 99 Adventures, we're going to talk about a little trash to treasure Alan found and what he's doing with that. And then, is a third MC actually worth it? But we've been cooking up a storm, but I wanted to show y'all we're cooking veggies to go with some of the other things that we're cooking, but we'll talk about
tacos, chicken.
We'll talk about that in just a second. So, see you in a bit. Welcome to 99 Adventures, the podcast where the campsite stories are all about the RV lifestyle. We're your hosts, Alan and Kim, fellow lovers of all things RV living. Here on 99 Adventures, we explore the highs and hiccups of life on wheels, whether it's discovering hidden gems off the beaten path or tackling the realities of RV living. But we're not just about the travel, we're about the taste, too. In every episode, we'll cook up something special right from the RV kitchen or campsite. So get hooked up, grab your skillet, and let's hit the road. It's time for 99 Adventures, where the journey and the flavors never stop. Alrighty.
Okay.
So we're back. We've got a bunch of things going.
See the smoke from the pit? Rolling, baby, rolling.
What we got cooking?
We got some chicken thighs, some chicken legs. We're doing some tacos. I'm cooking the veggies right now for the tacos. We're doing some squash, zucchini, bell pepper, onion for a side to go with the chicken. Also did some potatoes, white potatoes mixed with sweet potatoes, some hash browns, if you will, but they're kind of more chunks with some onion. And so we're doing like we always do normally on Saturdays or Sundays. We cook lots of food because we're big.
Prepping for the week.
We're prepping for the week and trying to get ready, and here we are. So, cheers. I'm gonna smoke a cigar during this episode. It's Fat Betty by the Deadwood Tobacco Company. They make good cigars.
All right. So, why don't we talk about your little trash to treasure that you came across and what you did and your little DIY project.
This is a mixed bag of an episode. We're not always going to do things that are RV related. We're going to mix things in from time to time, and this is one of those episodes. But it is somewhat RV related because it deals with home projects, especially if you're full-time. You decided to go full-time and you don't have a house, and therefore you don't have a garage anymore. You don't necessarily have a shop to go do little home projects. My brother-in-law has got an old charbroiled grill that I've been trying to get from him for years and years. And he always tells me no. The other day he texted me and said his neighbor was throwing away an old charbroiled grill. And it looked almost identical to the one that he has. Asked if I wanted it. And I was like, yeah, I absolutely want it. I've been in the process the last 2 weeks of updating it, repainting it, basically bringing it back to life. This is a 1968 charbroil grill. I don't know if you can see it in the picture or not, but it is 100% cast aluminum grill. They don't make them like this anymore. And so 1968, there's not one iota of any kind of rust. Of course, it's because it's aluminum, right? No pits or anything in the metal. So I'm bringing it back to life. I'm not done with it completely, but we're using it for this episode because I wanted to cook on it.
This is the first time.
It's the first time we're ever cooking on this grill. And so I'm super excited about this little project, and it'll be around for another, how old is it? 68? It's over 50
years.
52 years old. It'll be around something that I can hand down to my son or my daughter, and they can have it for another 50 years because it literally will last that long. And so the whole point to this is, I don't want to dwell too long on that, is living in an RV park with DIY projects, right? And that really is the point. Depending on your location, where you're at, the park that you're in, every one of them have their own set of rules, right? And along with the set of rules comes with no working on vehicles. If your truck or car needed an oil change, you're not able to do that. You cannot wash your RV. You can't wash your car. That's why this kind of flows into, just because you live full-time in an RV doesn't mean that you still can't do little DIY projects, rehabbing a grill or something like that.
Woodworking projects.
Yeah,
I
little
mean,
woodworking
we see
projects.
people around here doing that. Like, actually at the dog park, there are some benches there that someone here in the park made.
Yeah.
We see a little guy down the way. I'm looking at his trailer right now, but he sits out there. I have no idea what he's doing. Do you?
Yeah, he's doing some kind of whittling. He's got a little machine over there.
Yeah.
He's doing some kind of whittling or
little
whatever.
machine.
Little things aren't bad. It obviously depends on the park that you're in and their set of rules. My old saying is that sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
This was a DIY project that definitely could be done when you're sitting at a campground, because talk a little bit about what you did to the grill, because it's not like you were flushing transmission fluid or oil
I mean,
change or...
so I did some major scraping on the inside to pull all the old cooked stuff off of it.
On the inside, yeah.
On the inside, tore it completely apart, replaced all of the rusted hardware because it was not aluminum. Those were steel bolts that were through there, and so they were rusted. I had to change out the wheels on it. I put a coat of high heat paint on it. I'm going to end up doing a little bit of woodwork on. I'm going to put a cutting board on it and some cedar flats at the bottom to hold some charcoal or lighter fluid or whatever. And like Kim said, as long as you're not breaking out the Lincoln welder rehab a muffler job on your car,
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
Taking out an engine.
Taking out an engine. And those rules are in place for a reason.
Yeah.
They want to keep the park nice and
What it's intended for, which is camping.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But, with the rise in popularity of going full-time and doing that, it is difficult to
find that balance, what you can do and what you can't do. It's important to be cognizant of the rules, but at the same time, what you can do and what you can kind of get away with without disrupting the whole entire park, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come over and tell me that I can't paint something,
Because we did. He used spray paint. We sanded down the inside of the grills. He was doing some things, but I think...
Now, if I did that, if I spray painted it on a 70-mile-hour wind day and I spray painted and the overspray got on 30 vehicles down the way, that you just got to think it through and find out, what you can and what you can't do. Yeah. But again, the whole point to this video is twofold. We're going to talk about being able to adapt your new lifestyle into still being able to do the things that you want to do, like you lived at a house, and some AC stuff that we did on the rig.
But I would also say, you're just not sure, because my car needs an oil change, and it would be a lot cheaper if we could do it ourselves. So in those particular cases, I think just asking permission will go a long way.
Yeah. So maybe they'll let you do it, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Because they have to be careful too, because
you
allowing someone to do something that's not breaking the rules, then other people want to do it, and then you've set a precedence at that point. And
DIY projects are totally doable.
Absolutely.
Even if you're doing a DIY project in the rig, you want to repaint the cabinets or stuff like that. I mean, I think that's totally doable in a lot of these RV parks. But one of my biggest questions, Alan, is I've heard about this grill and how great it is and all this kind of stuff, but is the chicken that's cooking on this grill going to taste better?
I don't know if it'll taste better, but I enjoyed it doing more on that grill.
Okay.
So, but I mean, we always cook some pretty fabulous stuff, so I don't know.
Okay. That was really my big question. But all right.
Some tacos,
yep. With veggies. We have tortillas inside, so make great lunches or salads or whatever throughout the week. And then the potatoes. You want to show the potatoes?
Yeah, potato.
Hash brownie potatoes, regular sweet potatoes. Because we're house divided over here. Regular potato, sweet potato. Okay, well, let's talk about this third AC. Is it worth it?
Well, I think that's a loaded question. First of all,
It is.
because it depends on where
Who
you
you
live.
are, where you're at, what you're doing.
If you like to be cold in the summer, then I say the answer is definitely yes.
And you're in the South or in Texas.
Okay, let's just use for this episode that we're talking about anything
lower elevation.
Lower states. So
Yeah.
Florida, Louisiana,
Anything
Texas,
south of the Mason-Dixon.
Yeah. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
I would say.
But even so our daughter lives in Northern California, and last summer they had over 100-degree days. I would say even in places like Northern California, you need some AC.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think that's ever been a sticking point as to whether or not you needed AC.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's whether or not you need that third AC. And
if the rig can keep up.
And I think that as long as whatever your comfort zone is, again, for the lower states, my answer would have to be an astounding
Especially
yes.
Texas, yeah.
Yes. You definitely need a third AC, and nothing else will do. It's like a hot shower. And in the winter, you need a hot shower, and nothing else will do. And same thing for me with the third AC. Our rig originally came with only 2 ACs. And
one in the bedroom.
One in the bedroom.
And one in the
living room. And the living room was supposed to take care of the kitchen area as well.
And there's a ceiling fan.
And there's a ceiling fan.
And in the kitchen area, there was a max fan. It was an XL max fan, right? It was an extra
I'm not
large?
sure really what that does. I've never really used one, so I guess it's just air circulation. I really don't know. At any rate, we negotiated. Well, I can't say negotiated. We paid for another a third AC. So we took that max thing out, and they originally told us that they were going to put one in, but it was going to be a manual. Like we would have to turn it on and off from the floor. Well, first of all, I can't even reach that, much less Kim.
Much less me.
And not only that wouldn't be right. It wouldn't look right, So I told them no, I didn't want that. I wanted something with a thermostat, just like the other ones. And so they figured it out and worked it out, and ended up routing some wire down to a thermostat, and went behind the cabinets and over to the other side. And then on the outside, there is a 110 outlet, right? A female end. And then it's got a little flap on it so you can cover it up. And then we have an extension cord that when we want to run that third AC, we plug in from out there over to the 110 outlet that are at most of the parks that you go to. And, there's a caveat right there.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Initially, I thought that was pretty janky. I did. Like that, because it wasn't wired in with the rest of the rig system, is basically, all right? So now you can pick up. But I have changed my tune, but go ahead.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
What you were going to say was the pedestals, because it's a 110, so just with a ground, right? Just a regular, we just run an extension cord to the pedestal. But what we have found is at some of these pedestals, that 110 outlet, if there is one, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. We've been to, I think, 3 now where it didn't work, and we've had to either
get
call
people
to
over there,
get somebody over to fix it, or
just not run it,
or run our extension cord over to another spot.
Oh, you know what else we did? Oh wait, this was a good tip. This is a pro tip. You know what we ended up doing? We ran the extension cord
and ran it off the unit
back into the unit on the outside plug, regular plug on the unit. So it was just running back into itself. I am no electrical person, so I don't know how to explain that, but that was an idea. Actually, I think it was my idea. It was my idea. And we just, from the outlet that's on the other side of the rig, on the pedestal side of the rig, we ran the extension cord back into one of the outlets here in the rig, and it worked. It worked fine because we couldn't get the outlet at the pedestal to work, and it was dead summer. It was the middle of summer, so when we were doing that, but I have changed my tune a little bit. What I thought was pretty janky, I felt actually ends up, if you think about it, if you're out boondocking and you need to run the AC and it's just that one AC, like off of a generator, you might have to add a soft start to it, but just off a generator, I think it would run, right? It would run pretty well. And
Oh yeah, it would run that one AC. I mean,
what size is that AC? Do we know?
I really don't know. They're all the same size. I just don't know the exact size.
Is it 30,000 or 15?
I think they're 15s.
I think they're 15s. You're right.
Yeah, I think 15,000 BTU each one of them. Bottom line is that in the summer in Texas, where we're at in particular, we're running temperatures 105, 110 feels like outside. So actual is going to be around 100 degrees for many days in a row. It seems like an eternity. And those ACs, they run and they run hard, but they keep up. And I truly believe that had we not put that third AC in there, that it would not be as comfortable in that rig.
Yeah.
And now you're going to pay for it on the electricity side, depending on where you're at. Some places electricity is included. A lot of places they are not. It is not. So for self-cost awareness people, keep that in mind, that is an extra,
if you're staying long-term at a spot,
fee that you're going to have to incur.
if you're staying long-term at a spot where you incur the cost of the electricity. Last summer, we were in a spot that we didn't incur costs for electricity. So this summer, we will be in a spot where we do have to pay the electricity because we're staying long periods of time. So we have no idea what that will look like. But if it's anything like the heat, that one month where we ran a lot of heat because we didn't have the furnace, it wasn't fixed, and so it was quite expensive, over $200 what it cost for that month. So Alan, how much did we end up spending for that third AC? And mind you, let me say this real quick before you answer that question. They took care of that at the dealership. So it wasn't a DIY project.
No, absolutely
We didn't
not.
have a tech come out to do it.
I know my limits, right, on stuff like that. And that was definitely done at the dealership. It was in the price of the rig. They say that they took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they took care of it. And
how much was it? It was about $1,200, $1,500 for the installation and the AC. Correct? That's what we think.
We could go with that.
Now, I will say, to clarify, they removed the max vent fan that was in the kitchen. We're waving at our RV friends passing by in their golf cart. If you're seeing this via video. But we removed the max fan. Not we. I'm sorry. The dealership removed the max fan and then installed the AC in that spot. So there was no cutting into the roof. There was none of that.
Yeah, so to keep that in mind, if there's not a dedicated space for something there, in other words, some RVs they'll do the cutout and not put an AC there with the intent that if someone bought it and wanted a third AC, there's actual spot there. Otherwise, it's a major deal for them to go in and cut a hole in the roof to put that third AC in there. Be aware of that going forward. So,
but it's a ductless AC unit back there. I mean,
yes.
It's just blowing in into the space at the kitchen. Which is good because, I mean, that's obviously where you cook. We've got large windows. We're on the rig right now, but if you see some of our other videos, we have a large window behind our sink, and it takes care of all of that. They added thermostat, but they did keep the button for the max fan. So we actually have an extra button there that
does nothing. But if they would have taken it out, then there would have been a hole in the backsplash. And so their thought there was I'd rather
leave
you
it.
have that and it doesn't work than to pull that out and then now you've got a big gaping hole there for
Or if
nothing.
somebody wanted
So,
to remove the AC and put the max fan back,
why anybody would want to do that, I don't know.
I don't know it.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but anyway. So that was pretty much it. We definitely, for us, in where we're at physically in the United States with the heat, yeah,
Third
sure.
AC. Gotta have it.
for sure.
Gotta have it.
Yeah. And I think too, if we were boondocking or using with a generator or whatever, it would be it's a great option to be able to keep the rig cool and it be able to run off of that.
Yeah, me personally, I like to sleep at 70 degrees. And during the summer, with that third AC running, the units will actually cycle off. I truly believe that if we were only running 2 units in the summer, even at night in Texas, you're still running 83 to 85 degrees in 12 o'clock at night. And they would never cycle off. They would just constantly run. That's a lot of wear and tear on your AC units, so you're not going to get as much life out of those. And it's super expensive with the electricity costs and whatnot. But I think the point is, the third AC worth it? To us, the answer is an astounding yes. You have to have it. Everybody's different strokes for different folks. It's just information for you guys, and use it however you choose.
Yeah. But that it is doable in some of the rigs. Some of the, I will say, larger rigs that have the space or the
So our rig is a 38 RK. Total length on
43.
it is going to be about 43 feet in comparison to what maybe you're looking at, or whether it be new or used. That's the comparison.
Well, we have some good news that we were going to share.
What's that?
We had a great week this week.
Oh, it was a fabulous week. It was a fabulous week. So in our first episode, we talked about a little bit about us and our kids and Connor, our youngest one. He'll be 20 at the end of this month. He is a sophomore at University of Texas, San Antonio. He's in the Air Force ROTC program. Major milestone in an ROTC program is being selected to go on what they call field training. It is a big deal. It is a make or break point in an ROTC program to get a slot to go to field training. If you do not get a slot, then you essentially have to repeat your current year, and you have to basically show leadership, volunteer, your GPA matters, all of these things matter, and hope you get selected the next year. If you don't, you keep this vicious cycle going. At any rate, Connor got a spot, and so he goes to field training this summer for 2 weeks, which is basically officer candidate school for the Air Force. And so what that means is multiple things. One, that means that, God forbid, something else happened in his life, he is going to be a commissioned officer in the Air Force. That's what that means. Second thing that means is that for his junior and senior year, he goes under full academic scholarship, which is a big, big deal, right? He also takes his oath of enlistment tomorrow, as a matter of fact. He will get his military CAT card, give him access to all the bases that he wants to go to and whatnot. He is dead set. He is set for the rest of his life. We have another very, very exciting thing coming up in a couple of weeks. We're all going to fly out to California and go to my daughter's wedding.
We have a special episode coming on that because we're going to be staying in a little bit. We are actually staying in an RV while we're there. On property.
An Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it's a little different than what you see in the background. So stay tuned.
More to come on that. And
remember, like and subscribe, because you're going to find out where we're going to be staying.
Yeah, beautiful country. So we're super excited about going out to Ashlyn's wedding. We're super excited about Connor's future and where he's at. I think that I must have done something right raising the kids. I mean,
yeah, it was all you.
yes.
It was all
I
you're right.
definitely
It
did
was.
a lot of things right.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. It was
So,
all you.
Yeah. All joking aside, we are super proud of our kids and the individuals that they have become and the growth potential that each one of them have, their uniqueness that each one of them have, and they bring different things to the table. They think independently. They are independent people, and that's raised the way they were raised, and we intended that. It was fully planned that they would be raised like that, and I make no apologies for it because again, this is just our opinion. It teaches them a lot about life and, how hard it is out there because nothing's given to you anyway. I won't keep ranting on that.
To that point, nothing's given to you is Connor has worked.
He's worked his butt off.
Very hard.
To
get this
he has shown
slot and
yeah, it's a big deal.
So, anyway. All right. Well, just like that, another journey comes to a close on 99 Adventures. We still have our chicken cooking. We also have Boudin, and there's a foil packet there, some carrots. I don't eat carrots very often. We don't do that, but I was craving some carrots. I don't know. So we'll see.
Everything looks super good.
It does. I'm expecting this chicken to be excellent on this charbroil
Charbroil.
from the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s, man. I mean, come on, dude.
It is older than us.
You can't beat that.
Yeah. All right. So raise a glass. Here's to RV life, tasty meals, and adventures still waiting for us. Cheers.
Peace.
Enjoy your next adventure, and bon appetit.